Welcome to Chicago Cubs baseball on CSN, presented to you by State Farm. Overcast night here in Cincinnati. It's the first of a 4-game weekend set between the Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. Great to have you with us. Alongside Jim Deshaies, I'm Len Casper. Cubs won 2 of 3 in St. Louis. They'll start the 4-gamer tonight. And a few years ago, JD, the Reds dominated the Cubs, but it has really changed the last couple years.
Yeah, from 2010 through 2014, the Reds won the season series each year. They went 60-28 against the Cubs during that stretch, but it has turned around dramatically. The Cubs have won the last 6 meetings between these two clubs, 13-6 last year, 3-0 with that sweep on the homestand. So 16-6 under Joe Madden against these Redlegs.
It's Jake Arrieta night, so can we just chalk up a W?
Well, yeah, why not? I mean, it's been unbelievable what we've seen from Arrieta. We tend to take him for granted, and here's why. Because every time he goes out there, he pitches lights out. Saturday against the Rockies, it was 8 innings of shutout ball. He allowed 5 hits, 1 walk. Now, Brandon Finnegan, in his start against the Cubs, took a no-hitter deep into that ballgame, went 6 2/3 before giving up his first hit.
All right, the Cubs have the best record in this division, leading the Reds and the Cardinals by 3 games. The Reds, not a lot of expectations, but they come in 8 up and 7 down through 15. 3 of their losses came at Wrigley Field as the Cubs had their season opening homestand last week. We'll see what transpires here in Ohio next. Beverage Depot will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So the rain has stopped. We got a downpour for about an hour that canceled Cubs batting practice today. And Jake Arrieta is a creature of habit. Takes him about 40 minutes to get ready to pitch. So let's hear from his manager on if you have rain before a Jake Arrieta start.
I'd prefer starting someone else if you really, really are confused by the weather. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's really important on a night like tonight that you let the rain pass as much as you can and look for that clear opportunity to play. Because with any pitcher, you don't want to do. I don't want anybody to be confused by that. Right. But tonight with Jake pitching, I really would like to prevent the up and down situation. Pitch for 2 innings, wait for 45. Those are the kind of things with any pitcher. Really, it concerns me.
Well, the good news is we will start on time, and it will be Jake Arrieta to take the ball. But first, it's Brandon Finnegan, a left-hander for the Reds. And look at this, 23 consecutive quality starts. Jake with an ERA of under 1. So we were thinking, when's the last time you saw a stretch quite like this? And you got to go back to the Bob Gibson 67-68.
Yeah, the Hall of Famer Gibson had 26 consecutive quality starts. Of course, 1968, the year of the pitcher, he finished with a 1.12 ERA, and the next year they lowered the mound. So the game was a little bit different then. So I guess in that context, what Arrieta has done probably even a little bit more impressive than what Gibson did. Although Gibson in his stretch had a ton of complete games.
Let's get the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. It is Dexter Fowler off to a hot start. He's in center. Jason Hayward in right. Chris Bryant will play third tonight. Anthony Rizzo with a home run stolen away and then hit another one into the seats yesterday. Soler in left. Ben Zobrist plays second. Addison Russell had a big series against the Reds last week. And it's Ross and Arrieta making up the Cubs battery.
Reds defensively tonight. No Billy Hamilton. You see Schebler in center field, flanked by Duvall in left, Bruce in right. Suarez, the third baseman, has committed 5 errors already this year. That's tied for the most in Major League Baseball. Cozart, a solid. Phillips, outstanding. He and Votto have been paired over there forever, seemingly. Devin Mesoraco is the catcher tonight. And the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for Cincinnati is Brandon Finnegan, the young left-hander. 1-0. He's made 3 starts, has a 2.04 ERA. League hitting just 129 against him. He's had to pitch around some walks. But there's the boys. The boys are out grazing. They're ready to go.
And tonight's umpires, Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, will call balls and strikes. Greg Gibson at first, Ed Hickox at second, and Mike Estabrook over at third.
So it's Finnegan versus Arrieta. It's a battle of horned frogs. A couple of TCU alums doing the pitching here tonight.
Fowler batting right-handed. He swings at the first pitch, sends it deep to center. Schebler's back. It's over his head. He plays the carom perfectly, and that'll be a standing double for Fowler. If that ball gets by Scott Schebler, it's at least a triple.
Fowler has been nothing short of spectacular here in the early going. On base 3 times yesterday, 3 times the day before. First pitch of the ball game, boom, immediately he's got Finnegan in the stretch with a man in scoring position. Before these folks could even settle in with their chili dogs.
Here's Jason Hayward. And he takes a strike in that 3-game series in St. Louis. He went 1 for 12 and played stellar defense.
Yeah, hit a number of balls hard too. So the quality of the at-bats not reflected by the results.
And he breaks his bat on a liner off the tarp and into the seats, foul. 2 strikes on him. Finnegan just turned 23 years old a few days ago, and cool but clear at the moment and overcast, and hopefully that's it for the rain.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the forecast other than what we heard before the game, and what we were told was that it would rain about an hour before the game and then let up, and would be in pretty good shape. And so far, that has held true. Finnegan likes to sink his fastball. He'll max out around 95, sit comfortably at 92. An improved changeup, and one he's really relying on heavily, and also throws a slider.
Here's the 0-2 pitch.
And there's some funk in that delivery, too, which would add a little deception.
He was working on a gem at Wrigley Field a week ago Monday, the Cubs home opener, his 6th career start. He did not give up a hit until there were 2 outs in the 7th. And David Ross with a base hit. He exited the game with a 3-0 lead and ended up charged with 2 runs. And Addison Russell hit the big game-winning 3-run homer in the 8th inning off Jumbo Diaz, who's back in the minor leagues. Reds having all kinds of bullpen issues as Hayward strikes out. But they have found a way to go 8-7 through 15, even though they had to make a change in the 9th inning. Going to go closer by committee. And they've had a lot of trouble keeping leads.
Yeah, with Aroldis Chapman now in Yankee pinstripes, I think Brian Price knew that the bullpen would be a bit of an unsettled situation here early, and they're just trying to figure it out as they go along.
Chris Bryant, the batter, and the pitch. Outside for ball 1. Just getting his career started. Won the National League Rookie of the Year last year. He has loved hitting at Wrigley Field. He's got a career OPS of 1,021. It's under 700 on the road. That could change, and it might change right here. It is gone. Take that, road OPS. It's 2-0.
Good setup. All right, yeah, splits are so big. Sooner or later he's going to pick it up on the road. You can see with a young player there'd be a comfort level in his home ballpark. At the end of the day, this guy's going to put up very good numbers, regardless of where he plays. So boom, double and big fly. Man, pretty stroke. Quick, compact, and explosive. Your forward home run replay. Number 3 for Chris on the year.
So Jake Arrieta with an early lead as Rizzo airs it out and fouls for strike 1. Homer and an RBI single yesterday in St. Louis. Also had a home run taken away in the 1st inning by Randall Grichuk. Pop up right near second. It's the shortstop Cozart.
If at first you don't succeed, right? Thought he had a home run here. Grichuk denies him up over the wall. So he decides to hit this one where nobody's going to get it, except for that lady up there in the stands. Look out.
Ball 1 on Jorge Soler. This is a special place for him. He homered in his first major league plate appearance off Matt Latos in this very ballpark, August 27th of 2014. Off the end of the bat, and a rainbow to center. Schebler makes the catch, and the inning is over. Chris Bryant makes it 2-0 Cubs with Jake Arrieta to the mound. Here at home as they start a 4-gamer with the Cubs. Cozart, Suarez, and Votto at the top. Phillips has been really good lately. 6 hits his last 2 games. Jay Bruce off to a good start. Devin Mesoraco back of the plate. Adam Duvall is in left. I don't know if we'll see Billy Hamilton for a couple of days. He's got a left thumb bruise, so it's Scott Schebler in center. And the pitcher Finnegan batting ninth. Look at him, 4 for 7.
Cubs defensively. More of the standard alignment with Soler, Fowler, and Hayward. The front court in the outfield. Bryant, Russell, Zobrist, Rizzo third to first. David Ross back there behind the plate for Jake Arrieta. He is our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher. In pursuit of his 4th win, that would he would become the first National League pitcher to do that. He's got a 1.23 ERA, 3-2 with a 3.58 lifetime against Cincinnati.
Zach Cozart pops it up. Ross. Oh, good effort by David Ross as he went right into that railing, and looks like he's all right.
Just didn't have enough time to get over there and settle under it, so he's kind of treading lightly as he approaches that barrier. Not sure exactly where he is. The ball wasn't high enough for him to really find his way. Good assist there by Jim Day of Reds Television coming in to make sure. Cozart's off to a good start, hitting .432.
10-game hitting streak to start the year. Missed most of that series in Chicago. Left early in game 1 with right quad tightness. Did not play again in that series.
Uncle Charlie pays a visit. Cozart able to lay off there.
That was a really good pitch for him in his last start against the Rockies. That's fouled away. Arrieta, over the last couple of years, has taken no-hit bids into the mid or late innings against this Reds team. Cozart laid off that slider. That's a tough pitch to not swing at with 2 strikes. 3-2 with a Eugenio Suarez on deck.
Yeah, if throws it again, he'll be swinging, it'd be my guess. He doesn't walk much. He doesn't strike out either. He hasn't been. He's been putting the ball in play.
One bounce to Bryant.
Jake making his 3rd career start in this ballpark. Had a rough one here a couple of years ago, and then a solid effort here last season back in April. Seem to recall the start here a couple of years ago. Didn't he have a blister? Didn't he have something going on with his hand? I don't know. I might be imagining it. But
I don't recall. Doesn't mean you're not right. Here's Suarez. Played a lot of short last year after Cozart got hurt. Todd Frazier traded in the offseason, so Suarez now playing 3rd. He can hit. One strike pitch, swing and a miss on the curve. So we'll see David Ross back there. 2 straight games. John Lester will pitch tomorrow night.
Just great depth on that curveball. You know, Arrieta has been so good for so long now. One thing that stood out to me in 14 and early last year, he's just so good out of the gate. You know, a lot of pitchers have first inning issues. It never seemed to be the problem with Arrieta. He'd come out of the bullpen throwing 95 miles an hour. Usually had good command of his breaking stuff right from the get-go.
Cubs have won his last 16 starts. His ERA is 0.70 during this stretch. Bounce to Rizzo. He'll take it to the bag. Special note to our viewers watching on the main channel, Comcast Sportsnet. We will be leaving this game at 8 o'clock Central Time for Blackhawks pregame live. The game is currently being shown on CSN Plus. So you can switch over now to watch the Cubs and the Reds in its entirety, or we will give you another reminder a little later on as we get closer. Busy night of sports here on CSN. Now Joey Votto. I don't know if this is good or bad, but he's going through an 0 for 16, tied for the longest hitless streak in his career. I tend to think it's bad, and I'm not a pessimist. Guys like Joey Votto don't.
You're just you understand the math, yeah. Sooner or later, Joey Votto's going to break out. Punched out 3 times yesterday, and he's been swinging and missing a fair bit here in the early going. It's what, 360 something second half of last year.
Well, these two guys had the best second halves of, I'd say, any 2 players in the league. Arrieta on the mound, Votto at the plate. 362, 535, 617 was his slash line. That's right, he got on base more than half of his plate appearances in the second half, and he hits a 1-hopper to Russell. Arrieta goes 1-2-3 in the first. It's 2-0 Cubs. To you by State Farm.
Well, the Cubs are back home for homestand beginning Tuesday night. Mark your calendar. That's the 26th. They'll be in for 6 games. The Brewers and then the Braves come to town. Tickets are going fast, as you can imagine. Visit Cubs.com today and plan now for the games you want to see. A reminder, the Cubs have added metal detectors at all Wrigley Field gates, so give yourself plenty of time to enter the ballpark. Cubs.com/security for more information.
2-0 on Chris Bryant's first inning home run. Into the second deck. And Ben Zobrist will lead it off, batting right-handed. Just 2 for his last 31. And he takes a ball.
Fowler hit the first pitch he saw. It was Bryant first pitch. It was early in the at bat, and first or second pitch, I think.
I can tell you.
Fire in the hole.
I got it.
You know, coming into this ballgame, right-handed hitters were hitting just 100 against Finnegan. So the lefty has been able to neutralize the right-handed hitters. 5 out of 50 were they. Fowler got him from the right side. Obviously Bryant as well.
Hit well to deep right. Bruce will look up, and it is gone. Ben Zobrist with his first home run as a Chicago Cub. He goes to the opposite field, and it's 3-0.
Well, what a difference a day makes, and in this case, a turn through as Finnegan had the Cubs handcuffed last time. This time they're all over him. Another elevated pitch. And congratulations, Ben Zobrist, first long ball in a Cub uniform. There's your Ford home run replay for the second time tonight. He gave that one the full treatment.
And a strike, bottom of the zone on Addison Russell. Bryant's homer came on the second pitch.
Okay.
Zobrist on the third. Always feels good to get that first home run of a season. Again, he had been scuffling. Career homer number 128 for Ben Zobrist. He hit 27 back in 09. He's hit at least 23 times, but the last time was 2012. Russell's one home run came against the Reds, a game winner last week. And he lines to Cozart, the shortstop.
Well, because of the rain, the Cubs did not take batting practice on the field this afternoon. Doesn't seem to have bothered them in the least. Lots of good swings here early against Finnegan.
Well, as Joe Madden once famously said, it's the most overrated thing we do. Take batting practice. David Ross, a former Red, he had 38 home runs over 2 seasons in a Cincy uniform, 2006 and 7.
Yeah, if you want to stump your friends with a little Reds trivia, ask them this question.
Okay.
Top 10 single season home runs. Single seasons. Let me word this properly.
All right, let's start over.
Start over,
okay.
Alex.
Forget everything he
just said. The category is Reds Jeopardy.
Okay.
Top 10 home run seasons by a Reds catcher. 7 of those 10 were done by Johnny Bench.
Okay.
Who are the other 3?
Well, we'll let it sit for a second, but I'm going to take a shot at it. Tap toward third. Come on, David, run! And he's safe as Suarez couldn't pick it up.
Well, been a lot of hard contact so far. This anything but he's on base. What they give him a knock, or they call E5? Got to be a knock, right? If you try to barehand it.
Yep.
Now some guys will try to barehand a ball that they shouldn't for that reason, because they know they're not going to get charged with an error. But you're not going to get David Ross on a play like that.
No,
not with those wheels.
No way. My answer would be Devin Mesoraco and David Ross twice. Am I right? Or is it 3 different guys?
3 different guys. But you're those 2
Eddie
are correct.
Taubensee?
You are correct,
okay.
sir. Rossi had 19 home runs that one year, not a ton of at-bats. I believe he has the highest single-season slugging percentage for a Reds catcher. Better than even the great Johnny Bench. People think we just walk around Cincinnati all day eating chili with cinnamon in it and nutmeg. No, we do serious research.
There's a base hit to right as Arrieta cracked his bat. Ross on his way to third. Cubs pitchers continue to swing a hot bat. I had this note from the Cubs game notes. Their starting pitchers lead the majors with 7 RBIs. If they were put in a mix of DHs in the American League, team DHs,
yeah,
they'd be middle of the pack.
Yeah. Well, we had that graphic yesterday that they had outperformed Mike Trout to this point in the season, but I think Trout probably, well, he did. He had a home run today. He had a big day yesterday too, so he'll probably end up performing better than the Cubs pitchers this year. Just a guess. So you talked about the performance of those two cats right there post All-Star break, and they were both All-Star snubs last year too. So
yeah, it feels like we need to figure out a way to rectify that. Maybe have the All-Star game be about the last half of the previous season and the first half of the current season.
I think there's should be some consideration for that. Well, you talked about the woes for the Reds bullpen, so Ryan Price wants to get some innings out of Finnegan here this evening. Just, already in a big hole with a big hill to climb with Arrieta pitching against him.
Fowler, first pitch of the game, double to center. This time he takes a strike.
But again, first round pick of the Royals in 2014. And he pitched in the big leagues that year. So he helped lead TCU to the College World Series and then pitched in the World Series.
Fifth pitcher ever to get his first major league win. Not in the regular season, but in the playoffs.
Well, TCU, who else? We've got Arrieta, Finnegan, Matt Carpenter, Andrew Kashner, and Brian Holiday, also a Horned Frog. So was Bob Schieffer.
I didn't know that. Bounce to third, foul.
The journalism school there is named after Bob Schieffer.
Bounce to third. Suarez will get one, and that is all. So Fowler on a fielder's choice will get an RBI as Ross is in. It's 4-0.
Speed is a beautiful thing. Fowler able to beat it, gets himself an RBI.
Gets Arrieta back to the dugout to get ready for the bottom of this inning. He did his job. And a throw. And Dexter back. Not a huge crowd tonight. I see a lot of Cubs blue in the stands.
I hear thunder or somebody rolling kegs upstairs.
Rolling kegs.
There's a rumble of. Maybe they're moving the furniture. It's kind of funky what Finnegan does with that pickoff move. He's not really stepping directly towards first base. It's almost like he's just putting that front foot down. He's striding in the general direction. It's just a kind of a truncated stride. I think it's legal. It just looks a little funky.
2-0 on Hayward.
Finnegan just ambushed by the Cubs here early. He hasn't been able to establish anything. The fastball command is not there. He hasn't really gotten anything going with his secondary pitches.
3-0. So if they're playing connect the dots, I guess this next pitch is going to be up and away. Instead, it is right down Main Street, and it's 3-1.
Finnegan, there was some debate as to whether he would, be best as a starter or a reliever, but the development of the changeup, I think they feel like he can be a solid starter now. Coming into this one, he'd been awfully tough to hit. Best in the NL at 129. He had walked 10 in 17 2/3.
Cubs are 5 for 10 against him, make it 6 out of 11. Fowler to third. Inning still alive for Chris Bryant.
Yeah, so here's the challenge for Brian Price. It's obviously early in the ballgame, and you always feel like this early you have a chance, but he's up against Arrieta, so how early does he want to get that bullpen cranked up? How hard does he want to try to salvage this one when Arrieta is the opposing pitcher? So it may be that Finnegan's going to have to stay out there and take a bit of a beating here tonight, and Brian Price can keep his powder dry, so to speak, for the rest of the weekend.
Bryant already with a 2-run homer and a 2-hopper to Cozart, and he'll get the ball to Phillips ahead of Hayward. Cubs add 2 to their lead. Ben Zobrist with his first homer of the year as a part of it. It's 4-0 after an inning and a half. Show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Well, that little guy, he's ready if needed off the bench tonight. Thinking he'll play maybe second base.
Yeah,
late.
I think so. Yeah, he's
like an infielder.
Move him around.
Ben, you better watch your back.
He's a young Ben Zobrist. Just wants to play. Put me in, coach.
Need to wipe the pizza sauce off his face before he gets in, but 1-1 on Brandon Phillips. I missed it. I guess Purple Rain was the walk-up music for Brandon Phillips. Going to hear a lot of Prince music around the big leagues this week. Sad news today, the pop icon passing away at age 57. Makes you feel old when you remember when the song 1999 came out 15 years before 1999. Bouncer to Bryant, and he gets him.
4 outs, all on the ground. Nice play by Bryant. Not an easy hop there. Ball was sharply struck, so he just kind of had to hang in there and use his hands. Pretty play. Of course, he's going to use his hands. The point I'm making, trust his hands. He didn't really have time to get in front of it. Couldn't charge it.
Now Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce off to a good start, and that's good for the Reds for a couple reasons. One, he's helped them. And two, if he continues to produce, they may be able to move him at the trade deadline for some good pieces.
1-1. How about the Diamondbacks? They swept the Giants in San Francisco in a 4-game series. 6-2 the final today.
Shelby Miller today, right? I think he was scheduled to start that one.
Tyler Wagner ended up going 5 innings in relief following Miller, and he got the win. The benches did clear late. No ejections. Josh Osich hit David Peralta for the second consecutive game. Jake Lamb in the series went 7 for 15. Ball 4. That's the Reds' first base runner. If you look at a Jake Arrieta profile with how hard he throws, all the strikeouts, you assume there's going to be some walks, and that used to be the case, but that's not the case these days.
No, that's just the 3rd walk he has issued this year.
I mean, the transformation of Arrieta is just, it's remarkable. I mean, he had a walk rate of, about 11-12% when he was with Baltimore, but it keeps going down. 2014, 6.7, 5.5 last year, 2.5% walk rate this year. And Major League average is right around 8.
Yeah, well, and how about his ERAs over the last 4 years? 6.2 in 2012, and then 4.78 to 2.53 to 1.77.
We got the high strike that time on a slider, no less. That's the pitch you were talking about yesterday that doesn't often get called. Wasn't even a fastball.
Yeah, pretty rare to get that pitch called up there.
Slow start for Mesoraco. He missed a couple games at Wrigley last week with quad tightness.
He did not look very mobile behind the plate. Had the hip problem last year. He's got this funny little thing he does. Watching, he'll just kind of all of a sudden drop.
And he chased one, and I think he thought he got a piece of it, but he did not. So that is out number 2 and Arrieta's first strikeout.
curveball is so menacing for the hitters because a lot of guys, when the curveball comes out of their hand, there's a little hump in it. You see it kind of come up and then kind of spin. Not Arrieta's. It's on plane out of his hand, and then it just dive bombs.
We'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Park TV and Electronics in Cissna Park, Illinois. Adam Duvall takes a strike. The other thing about Arrieta, he used to be a fly ball pitcher. Now he's a ground ball pitcher. His ground ball fly ball ratio used to be around 0.8, 0.7. It was 0.5 with Baltimore in 2013 before he got traded to the Cubs. Well, it's now 1.33. And he's given up a lot more ground balls than fly balls here these last few years.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of different games, right? He can be efficient, attack you early with sinkers, and that curveball are both good ground ball pitches for him. And then if he needs to dial it up, he can pitch away from contact and go for the strikeout.
Scott Schebler is on deck. There's Bruce. He walked with 1 out. Now there are 2. And the 2-1 is fouled away.
Remember, his only loss in this stretch of quality work was the no-hitter that Cole Hamels pitched for the Phillies against the Cubs. He allowed 3 runs in 6 innings in that ball game. It was a 3-run home run by Ryan Howard on a 3-2 pitch. So he was that. If Howard pops that ball up, who knows?
We could still be in extra innings.
Who knows how that would have ended up.
If you want to beat Jake Arrieta, you got to throw a no-hitter. One got away from him on a curveball.
Usually there's pretty good sense of gallows humor in the clubhouse prior to a game against a guy like Arrieta. Players will be walking around and go, oh man, we got no chance tonight. Why did we even show up?
Runner goes on the 3-2, swing and a miss, inning over. 2 scoreless innings in the books for Arrieta, and he's got a 4-0 advantage. It's presented by State Farm. Game 1 from Cincinnati. We've got night games first 3 days and then Sunday matinee. Pitch to Anthony Rizzo is a called strike.
One of the storylines we followed with Anthony over the last 2 or 3 years is his improved work against left-handed pitching. So far this year, he has struggled in that department. Small sample, but you see what he has done here. He's really struggled in 13, and then the last 2 seasons really picked it up. Off to a slow start this year against Southpaws, but a small sample size.
Votto quickly leaves his feet. Finnegan to the bag. 3-1 on the out. Now Soler, he flied to center. His initial time up. You mentioned Mike Trout, a home run, got on base 4 times. Angels 3, White Sox 2 the final. Jared Weaver over John Danks.
I think Trout saw our graphic yesterday.
You might be right.
Showed the Cubs pitchers were outperforming him. Sent him a little wake-up call.
Weaver's best fastball in terms of velocity today was 86, but he improved to 2-0. And I guess he was a little cranky with reporters after the game who kept asking him about his fastball velocity, and I can understand that. He doesn't want to talk about it.
You should embrace it, like Dan Herron.
Bottom of the zone strike, so up and down. Dana DeMuth seems to be giving pitchers the benefit of the doubt early on. Even with the loss, White Sox off to a great start. 10 up, 6 down. Started the day in first in their division. This is Schebler. Right now they're tied with Kansas City. Royals have an early 1-0 lead in the second over Detroit.
It could be an interesting division to keep an eye on, that AL Central.
I agree.
I think Cleveland's going to be a good club.
Twins off to that bad start, but yeah, everybody else you could make a case. Zobrist is robbed of a hit by Suarez, and for the first time tonight the Cubs do not score. They go 1-2-3, but still lead this game 4-0. Seabrook and the Blackhawks fight for their playoff lives as they get set for Game 5 against the Blues. Coverage starts at 8 with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live on CSN Chicago. Blackhawks playoff hockey is brought to you by Volvo. Cubs leading 4-0. Scott Schebler in for Billy Hamilton. 4th start for Schebler in center. He's made 4 starts in left as well. Hamilton dealing with a left thumb contusion, more commonly known as a bruise.
How did he get it? Did he get jammed really badly?
He was making a catch recently.
Could have been. Schebler, 25 years of age. A little bit of time with the Dodgers last year. It was the extent of his major league experience coming into this season.
That was a leaping grab at the wall in St. Louis. It led to the Hamilton injury. The 3-1 from Arrieta is a strike. This will get back out of play off of third.
A couple years ago at AA Chattanooga, Schebler hit 28 home runs. Got some speed too. He had 14 triples that year. Led the Southern League in both those categories.
Fly to right. Hayward. Tweet from Bob. He said, I was hearing a crunching noise on TV. I just realized your field microphone near the Reds on deck circle was picking up cleat noise, or I just heard that noise. Cozart took the weighted donut off his bat. He said, I thought JD might be eating cereal.
No,
we don't have a box of Rizzos up here.
Waiting to get a box of Rizzos we can snack on during the game. I know people really enjoy that.
Try to give you sounds of the game.
Try to bring you right inside the ballpark.
Finnegan can swing the bat. He doesn't there. Takes ball 2, 2-1.
I used to love the smell of a cigar at a ballpark. I never smoked a cigar in my life. Something about cigar smoke in a ballpark.
And that's something you're not
going to get
experience again. Well, that's probably the next thing with technology. We give you the sights, we give you the sounds of baseball. Can we give you the smells?
Smells of the game. Yeah, something will kind of ooze out of your television screen.
He struck him out on a fastball. Again, that high strike.
Two-seamer. Finnegan frees a little bit and runs back over the plate. Cradled nicely by David Ross.
Back to the top, and Cozart.
Right back downstairs with that one. Yeah, that's the one you'd rather get called. You could just live down there. The elevated fastball, normally you're looking for a swing through, a swing and a miss, or a pop up. Not expecting that pitch to get called. Cozart off to a good start this year, and he was last year prior to getting hurt. Don't know what the long-range plans are for Cozart and the Reds. 30 years of age.
Yeah, they acquired Jose Peraza, a middle infield prospect from the Dodgers. Bryant bounces the throw, but it's there in time. And Jake Arrieta no-hitting the Reds through 3. Got a 4-run pad. Chris Bryant's been good offensively and defensively.
Four to nothing as we head to the fourth. Wednesday, May 25th, Kerry Wood will bring the heat. Fans will get a chance to swing for the fences, competing for the Battle of the Bats Home Run Championship at Wrigley Field. It's your chance to step up to the plate for Chicago's kids and support the Wood Family Foundation and Cubs Charities. For details, visit CubsCharities.com.
A little sliver of the sun. We're on the other side of the river as we near dusk. One strike on Addison Russell. Pitch too high. Albert Almora off to a good start. AAA Iowa. Take a look at the Cubs minor league system, hitting .368. His first homer of the season yesterday. Right-hander Pierce Johnson activated from the Iowa disabled list, starting tonight against New Orleans. Line shot left field, and the slide and catch by Adam Duvall. The Russells lined out both times.
Yeah, most of the outs in this game have been hard hit by the Cub hitters. You know it's hard to do? Write Duvall, print it in your scorebook, and not have the U and the V end up looking the same. I encourage people to try that at home.
Well, you got to put that little tail on the U. That's the key. You're a sans tail U guy?
Yeah, I need to work on that. None's taught me better than that.
2-0 on David Ross.
I'm giving it a good solid effort here, and it's still, the U and the V look very similar. .55 pitches for Finnegan here.
AA Tennessee Smokies lost 8-1 to Montgomery today. The Montgomery team nickname is one of the best. They're the Biscuits. And the press release from the Smokies said, "Biscuits batter Smokies." It's pretty good. Well, I don't know if batter is technically involved in making biscuits, but still, I like it. Ross on for the second time. David might want to rethink this retirement thing. It's off to a really good start.
Yeah, he's playing with a lot of energy. He had a nice spring, really swinging the bat well towards the end of spring training. And, you know, with Kyle being hurt, they're going to lean on David to catch a little bit more than he probably anticipated coming into the season.
Single to right for Arrieta, his first time up.
You know, Kyle Schwarber would love to be here close to home. Did a lot of damage in this ballpark last year.
Yeah, Kyle grew up a Reds fan. That big game in Cleveland when he first came up.
Rossi's got to be feeling pretty good about that right there. He induced a pickoff throw.
That's into center. Arrieta's 2 for 2. Ross to third. Here comes the throw.
Nope.
And now Arrieta caught between first and second. The throw there. Votto knocks it down. Ross on his way to the plate. He's going to score. It's 5-0. Analyze that play, JD.
Is that David Ross or Tony Campana out there scampering around the bases? We have a whole lot going on here. First, I think Phillips may have been screened a little bit by the second base umpire. That's a ball he normally would get leather on, I think. And we talked about Rossi feeling fresh. Aaron throw, and then Finnegan with the bad throw to Votto. He should have been able to corral it at least. Could not. Look at this.
Look at that play. Safe at first. A little barehanded pick by Brandon Phillips. And they get Arrieta at second. So single on that last play for Arrieta. An error on the pitcher Finnegan, allowing Ross to score.
Well, all I can say there is if you're going to make that play with your bare hand, you better not drop it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you're forced to use the bare hand. Sometimes it's the best option, but that was just because he can.
On Hayward, fouled back of the plate. Well, Zobrist got his first. Hayward still looking for his first home run in a Cubs uniform. And there is action. Tim Melville in the Reds bullpen.
Finnegan has allowed 7 base hits tonight, plus a lot of hard contact. He had allowed only 8 hits in his 3 starts total coming into this ball game.
2-2. And a full count. Beautiful sky with those kind of lavender hued clouds across the way. Remember that red sky we had here?
Yeah, we had
last
a real
year.
funky sky. Yeah.
It has been all Cubs so far in this 19-game season series. This is game 4. Hayward rips it foul. Fowler, even though he'll go with 2 outs, and it's low, ball 4.
Melville's probably ready, and I think Brian Price has seen enough. Finnegan's been good for him so far this year, having an off night tonight. Well, I guess he hasn't. I thought I saw him make a move.
Jim Riggleman, the bench coach, former Cubs manager. And it's Chris Bryant with 2 men on. Here's the pitch.
Brian Price got into a bit of hot water last year, kind of unloaded on the local media, took a lot of heat nationally for it. But he's a well-respected guy in the game, weathered the storm. I don't think, expectations being what they are for this club this year, he should be in a good spot in terms of job security.
Yeah, I would say that little dust-up was out of character.
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, the game, man.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, guys, people snap. There's a lot of pressure in this game, and some things went down that he wasn't happy about and kind of lost it.
I seem to recall he was aggravated about certain reports getting out before maybe he talked to a player.
And somebody saw some people coming. A writer saw some guys on a plane that were headed this way, and he tweeted it. So therefore, the guys who are going to be sent out, or a guy, kind of caught wind of the fact that somebody he was going to be replaced before Brian had a chance to talk to him. Just the nature of the times we live in, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Casey Stengel once, managing in Boston, got hit by a taxi, broke his leg, and missed most of the year. And the local newspaper gave the taxi cab driver the Sportsman of the Year award. That's how unpopular Casey was in Boston in the late 30s. And he went on to have that great career and all those championships with the Yankees, the old professor.
I can hear you from over here. You're too loud. That's Greg Gibson, as Joe did not like the check swing call for a strike.
Joe's defense is that there's not many people in the ballpark.
Right, called strike 3, and that will end the inning. It's 5-0 Cubs.
Metropolis. Sunday, May 15th, the Cubs celebrate Youth Baseball and Softball Appreciation Day. Buy your tickets now through the Cubs special events page to receive a special Cubs youth bat and ball set. A portion of net proceeds will be donated back to all participating teams or leagues of 50 or more. Purchase tickets, and for more information, visit Cubs.com/special events. Look at that guy. You talk about a utility player.
Yeah. What does he think he is? Javi Baez?
He's ready.
Well, they allowed that shirt in this ballpark, and it was probably the best promotion for that Joe Madden themed shirt by having it banned in St. Louis, because no publicity is bad publicity when it comes to selling T-shirts.
Help sell shirts and help raise money for charity. So at the end of the day, that'll be a good thing.
Suarez bounces foul. Reds without a hit through 3. The home scoreless streak at Wrigley for Jake is at 48 1/3 innings. Doesn't really matter these days where he pitches. Dominated the Pirates to win the wild card. Two and two.
Went 8 innings in his last start. Came out after 100 pitches. Could have finished. Could have completed that game, but they're trying to save some bullets in anticipation of a long run in the fall, or certainly in hopes of a long run in the fall.
I'll tell you one thing, and it's really, really early. If he just keeps doing what he's doing, and this team keeps doing what it's doing, he will get MVP votes. If he keeps hitting the way he's hitting. He's been doing it all as he walks Suarez. So that's 2 walks allowed. And here's Joey Votto. Now going through the longest offer of his career. Without a hit in 17 straight at bats.
Going back to June of last year, it all started in that game in Minnesota. 23 consecutive quality starts, and you know, the quality start is 6 innings, 3 earned runs or less, so that's really not giving him his due, because they've been way better than that. 19-1 with a 0.91 earned run average. Come up with a new stat, a superior start, an excellent start, or something like that.
If you're Brian Price, do you push the envelope even though you're down 5 runs? Trying to get base runners going. How many chances are you going to have?
If you like the math, I think you do. If the timings, you know, the numbers you're getting on your stopwatch.
And as I say that, Suarez picked off by David Ross.
And we talk about David Ross in his early season performance. He's really been throwing the ball well. Threw out a couple of base stealers in his last assignment when he was catching John Lester. There's going to be no challenge from the Reds.
Perfect throw.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the times are getting on Arrieta to home, were slow enough where they felt like they could get decent jumps, then it probably would make sense in the right part of the lineup to try to steal a base or two, even though you're down 5, just to try to chip away.
Diving stop, Rizzo, and they get Votto.
It's contrary to conventional baseball thinking, who says if you're down a bunch, you don't take risks on the base paths. You just hope somebody can knock one out of the ballpark and get you back in the game. But against Jake, I think changes the thinking a little bit. And the idea that you're going to stand in there and just do a bunch of slugging against them is, that's not very reasonable. Pretty play by the big fella.
Phillips grounded to third his first time up. He takes a strike. John Lester and John Moscott tomorrow. 2 Johns with no H. John with an H. Lackey against former Cub Dan Straley on Saturday, and then Jason Hamill and Alfredo Simon scheduled for Sunday. Simon, however, had his last start skipped due to a biceps injury. Bryant, and that's it for the Reds after 4. 5-0 Cubs.
Charities. Cubs Authentics is the premier outlet for all MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. The Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics to Cubs Charities. Visit Cubs.com/authentics today.
David Ross has had a great night. He's been on twice, has scored twice, has picked off a runner, and he's catching a no-hitter through 4. A reminder, in about a half hour, if you're watching on the main channel Comcast Sportsnet, we will be moving you over to Blackhawks pregame live. So if you're tuning in for that game, we will get you there at 8 o'clock Central Time. This game is also currently on CSN Plus. And you can watch it in its entirety. Here's right-hander Tim Melville taking over for the starter Finnegan.
You think his teammates call him Herman?
Maybe. And he starts Rizzo with a breaking ball for a strike.
Melville, rookie, 26 years old. Pitched at AAA Toledo in the Tigers organization last year.
And Robert Stevenson up for a start. So it's Stevenson and Melville.
Very literate group.
That goes 4-3. Phillips to Votto.
James Joyce would work the plate when those guys pitch.
Right.
It'd be Jim Joyce any other time, but when they pitch, he'd be James Joyce.
Right. Soler rolls one foul.
People in the front row are rather brave, aren't they? Just flinging themselves at that ball. That thing was pretty well struck.
Count, a rocket foul the other way. Nicely done, sir. The awkward fist bump. By the way, tangentially related to what just happened, I am in a real bad fist bump handshake funk. Just for whatever reason, the last week or so, you see somebody I haven't seen in a while, and it's like you see the fist, and then you do that, and then they put their hand out to shake yours, and
right, yeah,
very awkward.
I know the feeling, yeah. You need to work on that.
I will. Maybe it's them, not me. Host your best customers and guests in a private suite at Wrigley Field. The new Veen Investment Suites can accommodate anywhere from 15 to 55 guests and include food, all-you-can-drink beverages, and parking. To book your premier experience at the ballpark, visit Cubs.com/premier. Ben Zobrist on the right side hit a home run in the second, his first of the year. The ground ball, base hit. Good effort by Phillips.
Yeah, these bats are starting to come to life, and you say, wait a minute, what do you mean come to life? The Cubs are winning all kinds of games. Well, they have been, but they haven't really been doing a whole lot of hitting. The first week of the season they did, and they also drew a ton of walks, but of late, you know, Rizzo's gone through his troubles. Hayward's had a hard time finding holes, same for Zobrist, but now the hits are starting to come. That's number 8 tonight. Zobrist could easily have 3. Hit a bullet last time up and lined out to third base. 11-4 record for the Cubs so far, and they haven't really hit their stride. Russell with good contact tonight, nothing to show for it so far.
Oh, and 2. Going outside. According to Baseball Reference, one of Tim Melville's nicknames is Woody. Is that the Toy Story reference, maybe?
Well, let's get a close-up. Does he look like Woody?
I guess so.
Kirk Reeder was Woody, right?
Yeah.
Got a pretty good lather going. Somebody poisoned the water hole.
Outside.
I think you got to go with Herman or Moby. Get down.
It will be caught, and Melville authors a scoreless inning. 5-0 Cubs. Nothing. No hits for the Reds through 4. Back to work. Jake Arrieta to Jay Bruce, who fouls out of play.
Walk, a very rare occurrence for both Arrieta and Bruce. Jake had only walked a couple coming into this start. Bruce had only walked once all year prior to that plate appearance.
1-2 the count. My daily chat with Chris Bosio. He got a nice write-up in one of the local papers. You know, Jake was giving him a lot of credit for not only the pitcher's success on the mound, but he throws in batting practice a lot. I asked Boz, you know, what were the things that your pitching coaches, when you pitched, the things that you needed to know? And it was interesting. The first thing he said was guys who swing. Guys who swing at the first pitch. So one thing he wanted to know from his pitching coach: tendencies.
Yeah, who swings early?
Yeah.
Who's willing to take a walk?
You have your 3-2 theory, and it kind of fits that. Most pitchers would like to live on the outer edges of the strike zone, get their outs on swings and misses.
Yeah, strikes is overrated. It really is, and that was the old Warren Spahn line. You want to be as close to the plate, but as far away from the barrel of the bat as possible. Those pitches that start in the zone, run off the corners.
Swing and a miss.
So you throw strike one and then expand. And you know, we talked earlier about the evolution of Jake Arrieta, and you look at his numbers from 4 years ago, say, when he was struggling with Baltimore. First pitch strikes, 55%ish. Right now he's like 65%. That's a huge increase in terms of just getting the jump on hitters.
That's the changeup. The other thing Boz said, I said, was there one pitching coach in particular who helped you the most? He said, I learned more from my teammates. And he played with Paul Molitor, Robin Yount. He said the Hall of Fame hitters, just watching them do their thing and having conversations with them about how they attack pitchers.
There's a breakdown fastball, slider, curve, and he has mixed in a couple of changes. Well, I think that job has evolved too, the pitching coach.
As Araujo breaks his bat as he flies out. Follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long on Comcast Sportsnet. Brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. You can visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. How has the pitching coach job expanded?
And hitting coach, I think it used to be a lot about mechanics and maybe psychology. Now it is about preparation. It's about knowing, hey, you get ahead with a breaking ball with this guy, you can put him away with hard stuff in, or start him fastballs and then finish him off with a changeup in the dirt. I mean, there's a very specific pitching plan for each hitter. Back when I played, and of course that's a long time ago, it was more generic. Hey, just kind of basic pitching, down and away, up and in, change speeds. There wasn't a specific plan for a lot of hitters because they didn't have as much information.
Right. Duvall pops it up on the infield, and this is Ben Zobrist. No hits through 5. It's 5-zip Cubs.
Here we go.
For Xfinity high-speed action. Jake Arrieta with the base hit. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game. This was a wild play. Brandon Finnegan made one extra throw, and it was one too many as Ross would score.
Got handed that water bottle as soon as he got to the dugout. Like he was running a marathon.
The 8 and 9 hitters, 4 trips, 4 reaches, 2 runs. Catches the outside corner. Should ask David, and we'll come here 2 more times this season. Thought he was keeping some sort of journal. And for his last season, he got some gifts from his teammates. I wonder if, you know, when he takes trips to places like Cincinnati, Los Angeles, places where he played, if there are any people in particular he wanted to meet with.
Yeah. Good point. Of course, you know, he's stepping away from an active role as a player, but I don't think he'll be out of the game for long. I'm not sure
I agree
exactly
with you.
what his plan is, but I suspect he'll get right back in rather quickly.
It's deep to right, and it is gone. David Ross with a home run. You can't retire. You can't. 6-0.
Have a night, big guy. Infield hit. Scored. Walked and scored. Now he gets to jog around the bases.
He's making a push in your 3-star selection. I don't even want to know what this is. You've got a fist bump. This is the hip bump. Arrieta swings and misses. So he's nearing, I believe, 100 home runs in his career. I think the goal this year had to be for David to hit 4. He's got 97 now. So 3 more would get him to 100.
He got one off of Jake somewhere along the way.
A 1-2 to Arrieta. And we'll do it again. The 29 homers here, by far the most at any ballpark for Ross.
Well, I'm kind of rooting for Jake to either hit one out of here or pop up or something. No need to run the bases, save some energy.
This time Melville gets him.
Follow Cubs baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day. Live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
Strike on Fowler. Jason points out that is David Ross's first homer as a Cubs catcher. Last year he homered, but he was pitching.
That's right.
Remember?
That's correct.
You didn't know the score. I told you we're in the 6th inning, and the Cubs starting pitcher has 2 more hits than the Reds team. You'd probably guess about 6-0. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
And you'd have a pretty good idea who was pitching, too.
Right. Ball 4.
Did you see the scoreboard stumper they put up there?
No, I missed it.
Name the 6 players to win the Rookie of the Year award whose last name begins with the letter B.
Well, Bryant would be number 1. Hayward to center. That's Scott Schebler.
Another hard out for Hayward.
Did you get the answer yet?
No, I'm working. I got Bagwell.
Bagwell.
And then I had some. I haven't cheated yet. That'll
Billy Williams.
Oh,
that's his first name.
Did Harold Baines? Baines, man?
Don't know.
I'm trying to think of George Bell, maybe.
Well, there's one of the answers. How about Brian Braun?
Braun? Sounds good. They keep slinging these darts at the wall. Sooner or later, we'll come up with it. Barry Bonds? Did Bonds win? I don't think Bonds won that award. I think it was Todd Worrell.
His name doesn't start with a B.
No.
Bryant with a base hit. He's 2 out of 4. Cubs have 10 hits in the ball game. The Reds have 0 as we play the 6th inning. Sixth time out of the first 16 games the Cubs have had at least 10 hits. Well, let's go through all the Astros guys. Was Berkman ever the?
No, I don't think Berkman.
Biggio?
Biz, I don't believe so. And Baggy in 91. Yeah, if you're looking for B's, that's a good place to start. Ted Williams, Teddy Ballgame.
I think Ballgame was his official last name. Off of third, Suarez. And he missed it. And that ball did not get out of play. I don't know if he got a glove on it or not.
Yeah, a fan was reaching over to it, but no indication of fan interference.
Getting votes for Carlos Beltran.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that might work.
I like it.
Swing and a miss. Looked like a change. It's 2-2. Deep right field, and that baby will go. A 3-run homer. Rizzo heating up. It's 9-0.
Boy, you talk about a quick stroke. That was pretty. That's the 4th home run of the night for the Cubs. This thing has turned into a real laugher. There's the Ford home run replay. Tap that front foot, go down and get it. Oh, just a flick of the wrist. He is so strong.
Jorge Soler with a bullet to left. Off the wall. He's got a double. This is the kind of night where a guy like Melville's just going to have to wear it.
Well, and that's the thing. It's one thing if you got a veteran guy out there who's nearing the end of his career and he's kind of been through it. And you say, all right, go out there and suck up some innings, take a beating for us. And it's tougher on a young kid.
He's already made 2 starts, going 4 innings and then 3 innings. This comes Mark Riggins, the pitching coach.
So he's stretched out. He's certainly capable of making a lot of pitches here tonight.
And that might be part of this conversation. Just keep battling, hang in there. We're going to need you to get a few more outs.
Don't get deflated. Keep competing.
Drew Hayes, just recently added to the Reds bullpen, is up. And again, this is the kind of night where you may need to bring in more reinforcements, depending on how much bullpen the Reds have to use.
This could be a position player night for Ryan Price. Ivan DeJesus Jr. pitch an inning.
Two and nothing on Zobrist. And that's low. Again, in a couple of minutes on Comcast Sportsnet, we'll be sending you the Blackhawks pregame live. CSN Plus has this game in its entirety, and you may want to hang around. Ball 4. Ninth batter of the inning, and the only Cub without a hit. Russell's lined out 3 times.
Yeah, all the hits, and I've got at least 6 lineouts on my scorecard. I mean, this is a clinic these guys are putting on here tonight.
So let's see the Cubs infield tonight. The catcher, the first baseman, the second baseman, and the third baseman all have hit home runs.
Oh my goodness!
Russell,
somebody's got to make the outs. He's killing the ball, and he's got nothing to show for it.
Hang with him, Addy. Well, it's 9-0. Ross and Rizzo with home runs. On the other side, Jake Arrieta has not allowed a hit. Arrieta here in the 6th inning facing Scott Schebler. Will be a pinch hitter, Jordan Pacheco, and then Cozart. Schebler fly to right in the 3rd. Here's the pitch.
Got away from him a little bit there.
He's worked some deep counts. He's walked a couple.
Yeah,
80 pitches.
Yeah, and he's thrown a lot of pitches at the top of the zone. Dana DeMuth has called a high strike, and he hasn't been overly generous with one down around the knees.
And a leadoff walk.
Folks, the Cubs suggest taking public transportation if you're heading out to the ballpark. The Cubs offer a free bike check now located by the Addison Red Line station. If you drive your car, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. For information, visit the A to Z guide at Cubs.com.
Here's Jordan Pacheco batting for Melville.
With this big lead now, Jake has the freedom, if he falls behind a hitter like he did Schebler, not to give in, just to kind of restart with the next guy, see if he can get a ground ball here and get 2.
On the corner. All right, it was 6 National League Rookies of the Year.
Yes.
And they were?
Joe Black, Jeff Bagwell, Jason Bay, Ryan Braun, Johnny Bench, Chris Bryant.
Very nice. Chopper to Rizzo. Throw goes to second. Relay to first, and wow, Pacheco was safe and was closer than I thought it might be.
Yeah, real quick there by Addison Russell at short. Very quick, getting that ball out of his glove and on its way to first base. Eight outs on the ground tonight for Arrieta to go along with 4 punch outs.
All right, so the
2 balls out of the infield on my estimation here.
There's Cozart and a strike. So the Cubs getting no hit last year against Cole Hamels. They had a record streak of 7,920 games between no hitters being thrown at them. When that streak ended, the Reds took over. Longest streak of games with at least 1 hit in the regular season. The last time they were no hit, June 23rd, 1971. That was the famous Rick Wise no hitter pitching for the Phillies. He hit 2 home runs that day. So it was 7,094 games ago into this season. So
it's been a while.
It's been a while. And the ground ball, Russell, the flip, Zobrist the turn.
There we go.
Double play. No hitting the Reds through 6. back on CSN as they face Eastern Conference rival DC United. Coverage starts at 3:30 on CSN with a Spanish language broadcast available on CSN Plus.
Hey, Cub fans, don't miss your chance to catch the best matchups in baseball. Join the season ticket holder waiting list. It's easy, and it's free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
(9-0). The Cubs have the lead. And a new pitcher for Cincinnati.
Major league debut for right-hander Drew Hayes.
Third Red to make his major league debut on the mound. Robert Stevenson, Tim Melville previously.
11th round pick of the Reds in 2010.
Big night for David Ross. Single, walk, homer, 3 runs scored, a pickoff on defense, catching a gem. You just joined us. The Reds don't have a hit through 6 against Jake Arrieta. I want you turning the station. 85 pitches for Jake. That double play ball could loom very large. Saved him maybe an extra 10 pitches. ERA down to 0.96 through 6. I feel bad in the winter saying, well, he can't be better than he was last year.
Maybe he can.
He has been so far. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Just trying to stay in the moment now for Jake.
Ross hustling down the line, but thrown out.
The pitcher, Jake Arrieta.
I think it helps to be a National League pitcher in this situation.
Take your mind off
yeah,
it?
you got to hit. You got to just keep playing the game. And
The Reds were no hit by Rick Wise in '71. 3 weeks prior, Ken Holtzman of the Cubs no hit them. So that was Big Red Machine. When would you say that started with all the playoff success, right? Well, that would have been the seeds of the Big Red Machine.
Yeah,
in '71.
Yeah, they had good clubs in '70 and '71.
75, 76. Morgan and Bench and Rose. And many more. Perez. Arrieta walks. So on for the 3rd time.
Yeah, the Reds, Mets beat them in '73 in the LCS. 70. They played Baltimore, right, in '70 in the World Series. One of those years. 72, 70 and 72. They were National League champions.
Yeah, so yeah, 70 they lost the World Series, same in 72, NLCS 73. Fowler lines, Bruce plays it on a bounce on the short hop, so that's a base hit. Fowler on for the third time. Now, Sparky's first year as their manager was 1970. The year I mentioned, 71, they were under 500. So they won 102 and 70, 95 and 72, 99, 98, 108, 102. What happened in 71? That was the one bad year they had during that stretch. See, I was born in January of 71, so I have to defer to you on this one.
They didn't. The Pirates won the National League Championship that year, I believe. Yeah, those Pirate clubs and the Reds teams in the early 70s, mid 70s, man, they could thump.
'71 was their first full season at what was then known as Riverfront Stadium. And it was the only losing season the Reds had in the 70s. Manager Bob Halsum.
Hayward might make a loud noise right here. This kid challenges him.
They're loaded.
Tough situation for this kid to come into in his major league debut against a team that's been wearing everybody out. 13 hits.
7 years in the minors. Making his major league debut tonight. Well, let's go back to the first inning. Chris Bryant hit a long 400-foot-plus home run, estimated at 420.
Great compact stroke there. Cub hitters like sharks when they smell blood in the water here tonight. Preying on these young Reds' arms.
Two and one. High drive, straightaway center. Schebler back at the wall. Grand slam time. 13-0.
Got 3 of those already. Think back to that first trip in Arizona. He had a couple of towering drives to straightaway center field. Just missed flying out of that ballpark. Got a little bit more of this one here tonight. And he is off and running. Home runs number 3 and 4 for Bryant. And here's your Ford home run replay for the 37th time tonight. The Cubs have gone deep. Towering, majestic home run.
Ball one on Rizzo. Tough debut for Drew Hayes. He has run into a buzzsaw with his Cubs offense tonight. "13 runs on 14 hits.
Just shy of doubling his RBI output for the year.
They tied their season high in hits. Where they scored 14 in Arizona on April 7th. Fourth two-homer game, third grand slam for Bryant. And remember what I said in the first? Yeah, he's been a lot better at Wrigley than on the road to start his career. Well, 3 hits, 6 RBIs, 2 homers tonight. Rizzo with a ground ball. Suarez. Reds giving up a ton of runs against the Cubs, and they've only scored 6 times so far in nearly 4 complete games. Now Soler with 2 outs. Again, the Cincinnati Reds have not been no hit since 1971, 7,109 games ago in the regular season. They were no hit by Roy Halladay. That was in the playoffs. So for the streak purposes, that is an exception. Not considered part of that streak.
He's reminds me a little bit of Drew Storm with his delivery. He's pitched collegiately at Bethel College and then Vanderbilt, which has become quite the pitching factory. So bittersweet for him, again making his major league debut, but taking a pretty good beating here.
Well, the Cubs had not played favorites. Finnegan gave up 5. Melville allowed 4. Hayes has given up 4. You've heard of the 2-drink minimum. This seems to be a 4-run minimum.
Well, if I'm a Reds pitcher down there in that bullpen, I'm taking the phone off the hook.
Called strike 3 to end the inning. Arrieta back to work when we return, leading 13-0. Coming off a terrific outing in St. Louis, will pitch Game 3 here in Cincinnati. Coverage starts Saturday, 5:30, right here on CSN Chicago.
What a dandy he pitched. 11 strikeouts.
Matt Caesar now playing left for Jorge Soler.
All right, deep breath, and off we go.
Suarez takes a strike. Not an easy inning to navigate. Suarez, Votto, Phillips for the Reds. Here comes Bryant. Sets, throws, gets him. So, you know, I don't know how the math would work. I guess you'd have to study games like this. With the score the way it is, you would think it would tend to make hitters on the team being no hit more aggressive. In that, you know, a tight game, you might want to work a walk, but here you might have a more singular focus.
Just trying to get a hit. Yeah.
Again, I don't know if it plays out that way.
And normally when you're pitching in a lopsided game, you tend to be more aggressive, but this really frees Jake up, as I mentioned earlier. If he gets behind a given hitter, he knows he has this huge lead, so he can go ahead and pitch carefully to a guy like Votto, should he choose to. I imagine he is not really thinking in those terms, because it's just, you know, he's locked in with his focus, just trying to make pitches.
Yep. 0-2 to Votto.
Stage of the game, everybody on defense a little more keyed up, ready to make a big play. Votto goes into survival mode, spreads out, chokes up.
Broken bat, ground ball. Rizzo scoops. Arrieta at the bag.
Well, Arrieta clearly knows exactly what he wants to do here. You saw him shake David off a couple different times to get to the changeup. David then points, all right, let's do it. Let's throw it, get it down, and he did. Made the pitch, got his man. Not sure who among that group is superstitious, but the ones that are won't be moving a whole lot. Won't change spots.
Phillips, option foul. So a couple of no-hit bids for Jake against the Reds in recent years. One broken up by Brandon Phillips, the other by Billy Hamilton. Photographic memory of Pat Hughes gave me that note before the game even started. Oh, and 2. Here it comes, and a tapper foul.
Yeah, I was in the radio booth during the rain delay yesterday talking with Pat and Ron, and I made mention of Tom Browning's perfect game while pitching for the Reds. And I said that came after a long rain delay. And Pat just kind of paused for me. He goes, it was a Friday night in September against the Dodgers.
He's the go-to guy with that stuff.
That's Rain Man-ish.
I have to look it up. He doesn't.
Yes, he did.
I think he did. He did. Call made at first. Greg Gibson rings him up. Arrieta through 7 has not allowed a hit. moved along. He has walked 3. He has struck out 5. He's at 94 pitches through 7. And he's gotten a little more efficient here these last 2 innings, and that's key. So changes now for the Reds. Tyler Holt will play left. Adam Duvall goes to first. So in a blowout, Ryan Price is giving Joey Votto the rest of the evening off. Drew Hayes looking for a much better second big league inning. Knocked around in the first. 4-run 7th. Maybe the bullpen phone was off the hook, JD.
Let the kid pitch. Zobrist's one of the many hitting stars for the Cubs here tonight.
One ball and 2 strikes. Bounding ball to Ivan De Jesus Jr. So he's in for Phillips.
Night off.
The only thing left to do, besides the obvious, that is Russell to get a hit.
Yeah.
He's lined out 4 times. Yeah, the checklist going into the game.
It's about as good an 0 for performance you can see from a hitter. I mean, he's been on the ball all night long. He just hasn't had any luck, hasn't found any holes.
I know we can sit here and say a walk would do, but I don't know if he feels that way.
No, he wants a knock. Yeah. I would suspect he'll be aggressive here if it's close.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Knowing David Ross, he might be telling Chris Bryant and Jake Arrieta, thanks guys. Having the best night of my Cubs career. You got to go hit 2 home runs.
And one of them a grand slam.
Grand slam, and you got to be throwing a no-hitter. The 0-1. Well, a good catcher here would make the 3rd out, probably, right? pitcher.
Well, I was watching Jake, and I thought he might spend a little more time in the dugout, but he came right out, got his bat, taking some practice swings, not changing the routine, which I guess that is understandable. But I've seen a lot of guys would just spend a little extra time in the dugout.
Swing and a miss. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Jake Arrieta working on some more history tonight. Cubs lead this one 13-0. All eyes on the pitcher. Maybe 4 pitches and counting as he faces Jay Bruce. Here we go, 8th inning. Little bloper.
Got him, man.
And Fowler makes the catch. Boy, the sound off the bat kind of had that dying quail sound, right? 1 out.
Dangerous hitter dispatched quickly.
Mesoraco called strike.
How many phone calls do you think were being made by the Arrieta family tonight? You watching the game? You watching Jake? Turn the game on.
Got a pretty good seat in the Cubs dugout watching this gem tonight. The 1-1. Now 2 balls and a strike.
He's been machine-like in his tempo, as he always is. He's put the same amount of time between each pitch. The fans hanging on every delivery.
2-2. Fowler and center. In and back. 2 down on pitch number 100.
Breaking ball stayed up a little bit. Zarocco put a pretty good swing on it.
Duvall started in left. He's now playing first. The pitch. Caught the corner, according to Dana DeMuth.
Don't be afraid to go back out there if you're going to get that one.
Yep.
Hey, baby.
Right on cue. 0-2.
This one was off the plate. This one actually caught a little bit of the corner.
Swing and a miss. 3 outs away. And he might have some Reds fans in the ballpark on his side at this point. We will go to the 9th. 13-0 Cubs. Reds with 0 hits. Presented by Benny's Beverage Depot with honorable mentions to Chris Bryant and David Ross. We got to go with Jake Arrieta.
I guess we do.
The story's not over yet. Hasn't been written, but no matter what happens from here on out, it's been another great performance.
Has been a joy to watch.
Benny's Beverage.
Double play there. Go ahead.
Benny's Beverage Depot, the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs.
Got 2 hits plus a walk as a batter here tonight. Look at the slash line. Blake Wood's the new pitcher for the Reds. Hard throwing right-hander.
So looking at the bottom of the night, because why not? Schebler, a pinch hitter, and Cozart. So Holt in the game, Pacheco used, DeJesus in the game, Billy Hamilton probably unavailable. Tucker Barnhart.
I would believe Barnhart, yeah.
Backup catcher, switch hitter. 1-1 on Arrieta is low.
I would say Jake's focus in this at bat should be don't get hurt.
Yeah, I'm with you on the National League pitcher in this spot. Bit of an advantage. And that's a fair ball, and Arrieta's tagged out.
Yep. Save your energy. That's good.
Well, 5 plate appearances tonight for the starting pitcher. Called strike on Fowler. Another big night for him. 3 runs. The Cubs spark plug. Never gets old, does it? You're not feeling a little jittery right now. You don't have a pulse. As Fowler bounces out. Time for a hefty home run. Chris Bryant with a couple tonight, including a grand slam, greeting the guy making his major league debut. Get another shot if Hayward can reach here in the 9th. Hayward lines into left. He's got his 2nd hit. 4th time he's been on base.
As we've been saying, the contact much improved in the series in St. Louis. The results weren't there for him, but it's starting to fall in now. 2 hits tonight, plus a line out and a couple of walks. Arrieta in the dugout, has the cap on, wiping his arm there. He's ready to go to work.
lost in the shuffle. He's 14-0 his last 15 starts. We will not be going to break after this half inning. We'll let you watch him warm up for the bottom of the ninth. 23 consecutive quality starts coming in. Reigning Cy Young winner. Bryant, base hit, right field. Like waiting for the Rolling Stones. They always make you wait an extra 10 minutes.
Hey, you never know what you're going to see when you go to a big league ball game. You might see a guy hit a grand slam. You might see a team score 13 runs. You might see a no-hitter. You might see it all in one night.
It was a Sunday night in Los Angeles, August 30th. Cubs beat the Dodgers 2-0. Rizzo down the left field line, and it's out of play. The only starting player in the lineup for the Cubs that night without a hit was Addison Russell, batting ninth. Jake went 1 for 4. That was the pajama trip, remember?
Mm-hmm.
On the way home.
Yeah.
There were 46,679 in the yard. Tonight, 16,497. And in a 13-0 game in the ninth, a lot of people would have left by now. Not the case tonight for obvious reasons. 1-1 on Rizzo. He had a 3-run homer in the 6th. So he's homered in each of his last 2 games. Swing and a miss. Pitch gets away, and everybody's going to reach. It's been that kind of night for the Cubs, and I guess a Reds fan could say the same thing about their team. Pass ball charged to Mesoraco. Yeah, he just missed it.
Yeah. Notice in Chicago when he was catching, he just didn't appear really mobile, and the hip problems he had, the surgery last year, maybe just not all the way back where he needs to be. He's like, let's get it on, fellas.
Base hit, right field, Matt Caesar. Hayward scores. Cubs going station to station in a blowout, 14-0. Now Zobrist. Man, Arrieta may come up again.
Yeah, well, you just saw him disappear into the tunnel there in that shot of the dugout. He's on his feet. He's moving. He's not just sitting still. He's anxious to get going here.
Now Ben Zobrist fouled away. So we've got all these, you know, his last 16, his last 23 starts, the whole deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go back to the no-hitter at Dodger Stadium, not including tonight. 10 starts since the no-hitter, an .058 earned run average, a 9-0 record. Base hit. Zobrist in the gap. That's going to score a couple. Bryant and Rizzo are in. 16-0. And here comes Addison Russell. A double for Zobrist. Riggins to the mound. So if Jake can get these next 3 outs without allowing a hit, it would be 2 no-hitters within 11 regular season starts for him.
Rather Nolan Ryan-ish, isn't it? Only Cub pitchers in history with multiple no-hitters, Ken Holtzman. And then you got to go back into the Wayback Machine, Larry Corcoran back in the 1880s at 3.
We start to look at the record books in terms of the most runs scored, and the potential no-no as Russell grounds out. So he's hitless. That's okay. 3 runs on 4 hits. We're going to keep it right here.
Fans rise in anticipation of Arrieta coming out of that third base dugout.
Uncharted territory for Jake Arrieta, but that would have been the case even before August 30th, 2015. He had several games into the late innings over the previous couple of years without allowing a hit.
For those of you who like baseball minutia and factoids, the largest margin of victory in a no-hitter, 18-0 for the Buffalo Club, and the no-hitter was pitched by the great Pud Galvin.
Fans already on their feet.
Yeah, everybody's got the smartphone out, capturing the moment.
Schebler, Barnhart now on deck as a pinch hitter, and then Cozart. Here we go, and ball 1. Pitch count in good shape. Now 2-1. You might think his teammates would be at the top step, but no. They're in the same spot. Look at Listella. He can't keep that leg still. Swing and a miss.
Oh, man.
Well, Schebler was trying to end it with a home run.
Yeah, he's trying to do something dramatic. Everything's been at the top of the zone. I guess that's the challenge for Jake, right? To control the adrenaline and just continue to pitch the baseball and not overthrow.
In the dirt, it's full 3-2. We want to welcome those viewers watching on the MLB Network. Bottom of the ninth, 3-2 the count.
This is what I was talking about earlier. You know, he's got leeway here. He doesn't have to challenge.
And he walked him. That's the 4th walk he's issued. He has struck out 6.
Not going to give in to the middle of the strike zone with so much at stake. Start fresh with a new hitter. See if he can get a double play ball as he did back in the 6th.
Switch hitting catcher Tucker Barnhart. Last guy available off their bench. Billy Hamilton not available.
Infielders, outfielders on high alert.
Foul back. Barnhart off to a good start. He had the game-ending hit for the Reds yesterday against the Rockies. Mazzilli told us a couple years ago he was never more nervous as a defensive player than in these types of games.
Yeah, more so when a pitcher had a no-hitter going than in the postseason. There really haven't been any close calls here tonight.
Popped him up. Addison Russell. That's 1.
My palms are sweating.
How you doing over there? Zach Cozart. Well, there was one close call. It was the Bryant play, right? To get him in the 3rd inning. Called strike.
2 hopper to short would work just fine right here.
It sure would. Miguel Montero, by the way, handed in the lineup card tonight. The 0-1. Fowler coming on. 2 down. Cozart lines out. 2 down in the 9th. Suarez. Runner takes off the pitch. Fastball 93, strike 1. No steal for Shedler.
That might be the greatest example of fielder's indifference in the history of the sport. Yes, it did. Suarez, I think, was looking breaking ball there and just froze on that 2-seam fastball. Didn't hit a spot. Schebler didn't pull the trigger. Breaking ball down and away. Bury it.
One and two.
Oh, could have been. Wow. Again, not the pitch he wanted to make. Dana DeMuth could easily have rung him up there.
The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Woo, these last two pitches, oh, so close.
It's one of those situations that he knows if he just executes that slider or the curveball down and away, he'll probably get the chase.
Here comes the 2-2. In the air, this should do it. Jason Hayward makes a catch. It's a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has done it again.
Oh, my. Wow. That was fun.
His second no-hitter in his last 11 regular season starts. I'd say the sky's the limit. Maybe the universe is the limit for this guy.
Just the level at which he has pitched for such an extended period of time is just mind-boggling. And remember, this is a guy who a few years back was lost at sea. Look how stoic he is as he watches it, and then finally the release of emotion. Go get him, boys.
Four starts, 4 wins. How about David Ross? I mean, he announced his retirement before the season. This could go down as the highlight of his career tonight, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously had a great long career, but he loves his pitchers. I mean, he's as pumped about this as Jake is, I think.
Hug for the pitching coach. Yeah,
they're making a habit out of it.
The 15th no-no in Cubs history.
The Gatorade.
Yeah.
It's just such a great baseball story. The fact that he was a guy who had such ability, but he had his struggles, and this game is all about redemption. And this guy has obviously turned into an unbelievable pitcher.
Hey Jake, it's Len and JD.
What's up, boys?
Oh, I don't know. You tell us.
Man, God, it felt sloppy from the get-go. The pregame pen was as sloppy as it was in LA before that no-hitter, so I don't put a lot into it. I came out just trying to mix, was a little off of my command, but was able to keep him off balance, and later in the game pound the strike zone with some good movement and keep the ball down. And I don't know how many ground ball outs I had. I knew there was quite a few, so